Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Drawing Expressions with Mr. Speck. Today we are going to be drawing somebody in a frightened pose. This is someone who's scared. So I'm going to start out with my same technique. I'm going to draw some circles, a variety of circles, and those lines are going to be the best ones that I have there, are going to be the ones that I keep. For this one I want the body to be up in an upright position, so I'm going to draw the neck a little bit longer, a little bit more slender, and then I'm going to slide it down into the shoulders. Next up, the half rule. Halfway down the head is where my eye line is going to be located. Halfway down from the eye line is where my nose line is going to be located. And halfway down is where my mouth, my lips are going to be located. And then right above the eye line is where I'm going to draw my ears and then make its way down just a bit. I'm looking for a little bit of symmetry on the side here when I'm drawing the ears. Once we're done with the ears, this next part is one that I've always kind of struggled with, and that's drawing scary hair. That's right, hashtag scary hair. I can only kind of tell you that when I think of somebody's hair in kind of a scary mode, I'm thinking about their hair being raised, like a cat when a cat's scared and the hair raises on their back. That's kind of what we're going for here. A lot of people have told me when I draw this before, it looks kind of like one of the Dragon Ball Z characters. And I guess that's kind of similar, only in this sense they're supposed to be frightened, and that's why their hair is raised. As I mentioned to you in previous videos, it's so important that you're not trying to draw every single strand of hair on a person's head, but rather outlining the important details and drawing the highlights, well, not drawing the highlights, leaving those empty, and filling in the lowlights, the dark areas, the shadow. So that's what I'm trying to do here. It almost looks like, to me, when I think of it, it almost looks more like someone getting electrocuted, someone being frightened. I'm exaggerating a little bit. I'm drawing it, the hair is very, very intense. You do not need to draw it this high. This is just something that I'm doing. You can draw it a total different way, that's fine. Next up, I'm drawing the eyes, and we're going to go wide-eyed with this, and we're looking for symmetry on both sides. The pupils are going to be super, super small, and I'm going to leave the centers empty. And then hopefully you can kind of see what I'm going for here. You can kind of see how I'm setting this up, and it already kind of looks a little bit frightening, if I'm honest. I'm also going to remind you guys that both girls and boys have eyelashes, so we're going to draw those in. I'm going to draw the right side, the eyelashes are going to move to the right. The left side, the eyelashes are going to move to the left. We are not looking for SpongeBob eyelashes. Okay, we want them to be gently to the side. And then we're going to move into the eyebrows. Eyebrows should be raised high on this one, in the center especially. But we're going to raise these eyebrows high. We want this person to look surprised. I wanted to leave a little more forehead in there, because what you can actually do is you can actually add some kind of wrinkles in the forehead, so it looks like the person's really worried. So that's just something to think about. If we had left a little more room, or if you do leave more room, you can add a little bit more kind of nervous lines onto the forehead, worry lines, or whatever you want to call them. I'm going to draw the nostrils on this one because the person's looking straight towards us. And then the parentheses on the side, I want it to look a little bit more intense. So I'm adding a little more details to those parentheses because I want it to look like my person is breathing, inhaling heavily because of the fact they're so very frightened. Moving down to the lips, we do not want this person grinning or smiling this time around. We want this person to have kind of a grimace on their face. We want this person to be unhappy because they are scared. So I'm going to do that and then draw the lips. And I'm going to bring the bottom lip down so that way I'll be able to draw the person with their mouth opened. Now, this is one of the most challenging things for any artist to do, is to draw a person with their mouth open. It's so much easier to draw somebody with their mouth closed because of teeth. My suggestion for you folks is don't try to draw the lines in between each teeth. Instead, on the top layer, just draw the bottom part of the teeth. On the bottom teeth, draw the top part of the teeth, and then just fill in the center dark. Okay, so we have the mouth closed. If you wanted to, you could even draw the tongue to really make them look frightened if you'd like. And then I'm going to work on my jawline and bring it down. Because of the fact the person's mouth is open, that means the jawline is going to lower. It's going to be much lower than before. So I need to bring that jawline down. I'm going to take up some of that some of that neck that I drew in, that larger neck, which will get taken up by that. And I'm going to try to keep the neck as slender as possible. Now for my figure, I've decided that the clothes is going to be a little bit disheveled, meaning I'm going to have a collar shirt, but the collar is going to be undone, as if this person's been running away from somebody, trying to get away from somebody. So I'm just going to draw that in there. Again, the clothing, not as important, but I do want to include something in there. I think that's important to do. Any guidelines that you still see in there, let's go ahead and erase those before we do our shadowing. All right, so there we go. Let's see what kind of shadow we can do. We can go kind of light with the shadowing for this one, just because of the fact, again, to me, it's almost like being frightened is almost a lot like getting hit by lightning in terms of the way it looks on paper. So feel free to just do a very light shadow. We're going to do a little bit underneath each of the eyes and a little bit over the eyes. We're going to actually go a little bit darker underneath the eyes this time. And then I'm going to use my finger, natural oils on each of our hands, on each of our fingers, to kind of smear that in and create value. All right. Going to make sure I have my highlights still there. Next up, the nose. I'm going to add a little bit on the sides of the nose, right above the parentheses here. And then I'm also going to have to put a little bit underneath the nose as well. So let me smear this in, and then we're going to work a little bit underneath the nose. Let's just a little bit, not too much. We're going to go light with this one this time around. All right, that top lip is going to get a little bit of shadow. All right, and then just a little bit on the sides of the cheek, right below the cheekbone. Not very much at all. And then as I mentioned to all of you, we got to make sure once you get your lines the way you want it, there's going to be some shadowing on the neck because your chin sticks out. For this part, we're gonna really focus on the sides of the neck, so we still have a lot of light coming straight forward. And then that's really the end of step number 2. We got our shadowing in. Next up, I'm just gonna go in and clean up all my lines. That means I'm gonna make sure that the lowlights in my hair get filled in nice and dark. Any sketch lines that I still have in there get cleaned up. And I'm going to make sure I get it to where I want it to be.